That's right. Here's an announcement. Hassan's Discord partnering up with Kalshi, the future of online leftism. You'll be able to gamble on how hard I will mauled, how long stun locks will be. Dude, all jokes aside, the fucking Kalshi shit, I'm seeing ads for Kalshi so much. I'm seeing an endless amount of ads for Kalshi on my TikTok. It's all over the place. They are making an active effort. Kalshi came out of nowhere. They're all slop ads too. Yeah, I mean, of course they're slop ads. It's gambling. Isn't that a cereal company? No, it's not a cereal company. It's not a cereal company. I think that's Kashi. Kalshi, which kind of looks like it could be a fucking cereal company, is actually a gambling company, even though they call it something different. They say it's a prediction application. Okay, they say it's a prediction app. Rug pull-talism, capitalism in its final stage is just everything is gambling. We're moving on from finance capitalism is already pretty much gambling, but there wasn't enough gambling in our. Wait, what the fuck? Who will attend Zohran Mamdani's swearing in ceremony? Hassan Piker, 59% chance. If Hassan Piker attends Zohran Mamdani's swearing in ceremony on January 1st, then the market resolves the yes. What the fuck? This is so unimaginably fucked up, dude. It is so fucked up. Especially because like I can tweak it. Like I can tweak the odds. Like I feel like I can just like engage in market manipulation and then bet on myself. I feel like there's no rules around this sort of thing. Skip it, bro. I'll put my daughter's college fund on no. We could all get rich. Let me get some of that insider info, big dog. Nothing speaks more to the depravity of Kalshi than the fact that one of the founders of literal Bolshoi trained ballerina and left to start her finance career because she thought of being one of the best ballerinas in the world wasn't fulfilling enough and finance capitalism was better. Yeah, it's fucking nutty, dude. It is so messed up because like I said, the stock market wasn't enough gambling that they wanted to infuse more gambling into our gambling. Now you can directly gamble on everything. Hey guys, this is not bad, by the way. Hey, just make no mistake. This is not bad. Wait, is Hassan actually sponsored by Kalshi? No, of course not, man. What really? You think I went from saying no to Polymarket offering $1 million to me to fucking saying yes to a Kalshi sponsorship after spending years and years speaking about the dangers of gambling, even though it's virtually thankless. Like it's another perfect example of how stupid it is to just be a leftist, because no one will ever turn around and be like, wow, congratulations, like I'm glad that you're morally you're morally sound, right? That's not the case. No one will say that. Everyone will find a way to make it seem like you're still morally impure or whatever, while also simultaneously all of the people that are now invested in this shit will get upset because now you're making them look bad, or now you're making those guys look bad, so they don't even want to fuck with you anymore. You know what I mean? Did you know you stayed beside the most bombed hotel in the world? Yes, I do know. I did know that. I did hear about that. You did gamble on stream. That's one L, but it's true, but whatever. Yes, I went to a fucking horse betting thing in Hong Kong on Austin stream, and I put money down. Yes. See, this is what I mean. Do you see what I mean? Like, there are differences, okay? It's an event in and of itself. It's content in and of itself. I didn't get fucking sponsored to do that, okay? This is why. This is what I'm talking about. It's literally... It's so fucking exhausting and so annoying. This is what I mean when I say it's nobody grifts to the left for this reason. Okay? Hold on. Check logs. Important. Have you seen Say Nothing on Hulu is about Jerry Adams and the Troubles? I have not. It's weird, like nobody gets mad when you go to Vegas and gamble, but you went to Hong Kong and you gambled on a horse race, so now you're a bad guy, just pick a fucking lane. No, I know. It also doesn't even matter. It's not like a real point of contention. It's not a real point of concern, but you know, people will try to find every like minor thing that they can make into a major standoff, like a major point of impurity or whatever. All right. But I'm glad that someone actually proved it though. That's precisely my point. My point is like you can't even fucking you can't even get mad at this stuff. You can't even say anything about this stuff because people will always find a way to be like, well, you've done it too. You know what I mean? You've done it too. Also, it's ironic because like all these fucking people are saying that it's not actually gambling when it clearly is gambling. You're gambling on the news. What the hell? Crash out much? What? They also said you put 30K on that horse. Yeah, no, because they're stupid. I won 30,000 Hong Kong dollars. But yeah, Don Jr. is actually also obviously, you know, the South Park episode where Don Jr. becomes like one of the advisors for Kalshi, that was real. That's a real thing. I didn't even know that at the time. And if you can't understand how fucking stupid this is and how devastating this is in general, I don't know what to tell you. It is definitely a real indication that things are not all right. Do you think people would have been less mad at you if you lost the horse races? I don't even think there was enough people getting mad at me. I don't think that was a real point of contention at all. But there are always people who will take like insincere things. There are always people who you know will take on like insincere concerns that others have made and be like, I'm the most pure, morally righteous leftist, so I'm going to bring it up as a serious point of contention here in the chat. So you fucking find yourself arguing against me for the next 25 to 30 minutes. Gambling should have ruined being a sports fan. I know. Like I wasn't even a sports fan to begin with, but it's I don't understand why people don't recognize how much how pervasive of an how corrosive of an influence this has had. You know. So unrelated, but are you attending the swearing-in ceremony? I hadn't even thought about it, and now I don't even know if I can say I'm going to attend it or not because I feel like it's going to the apparently the people are fucking gambling on it. You know, I didn't even realize that this was a thing. That's a no, sell. Okay, guys, don't even joke about this, please. Jesus Christ. DM me the answer. I'm trying to buy some land in Mexico. You just hate animals so much you dropped 15K to help Alvea Sanctuary when they got flooded out? Yes. But that's because I want to go there and torture them. That's why I did that. There's no regulations. I know. It's not great. We were promised flying cars and all we got was degenerate insider trading. I know. A Google insider has been officially exposed on Polymarket. This dude profited $1 million in a single day betting on the Google search markets. Google accidentally pushed the results early, then removed them, but not before it revealed he went 22-23 on his bets and ballooned to $3.9 million in open positions. This isn't a lucky streak. He previously made 150K predicting the early release of Gemini 3.0 before results were out. At this point, it's obvious he's a Google insider milking Polymarket for quick money. It's one of the wildest things I've seen on the platform. It's only gambling if we don't know the answer. My point is everything is computer, everybody transgender, everybody gambling. Okay, that's the point. And if you can't recognize how devastating that is, if you cannot comprehend how fucking bad this is overall, like Polymarket, Kalshi, all these different applications that are now deciding like, oh, we can just like gamble on everything. You can gamble on the news now. CNN is now collaborating with Kalshi. But hey, guess what? It's not gambling. It's actually just it's not gambling. It's a predictive market where you put money on things that are happening or things that may or may not happen. Is Kalshi the one that incorporates real-time maps in the Ukraine war? No, that's Polymarket. Maybe Kalshi does it too, but the one you're thinking about is the Polymarket one, where they also actually did some not just insider trading, but like they changed the maps a little bit, didn't they? So that someone can make money. This is why I do not respect our elite class and think that the anti-billionaire sentiment is wholly justified and insufficient. Most of them are not rich due to any constructive contribution to society, but are a class of speculators and scam artists making money out of nothing. Yes. Kalshi has an 80% bet that the Democrats win the midterms in the next year. Dude, it's so... The gambling stuff is so bad. I don't know how to describe it other than like, how can people not see that everything is a vice now? Like, I'm not one of these guys that is in favor of prohibition or any of those things. Like I personally think, you know, some vices are fine, you know, some moderate amount of vices are fine as long as it's like controlled, heavily regulated, heavily taxed, right? All of this stuff is all right as long as all this stuff is all right as long as it's like controlled, right? It's in a controlled environment, because like vices are the spice that makes life more enjoyable. Okay, but allowing everything to happen on your phone, like being able to do all these vices on your phone, and having these vices basically enter every part of your life, every day, every part of your day-to-day existence, is definitely fucked up. It's I mean, in Ireland there was another horse betting like gambling shop in every corner. There was a casino in every goddamn corner. It's a relatively poor country. Australia has a major problem with gambling as well, and I think Americans are going to have a major issue with this if they haven't already. I mean, Americans, I think, in comparison to Australia, is not as bad, but it's going to get there. It's going to get there. It's very clear, especially because these guys have a lot of money and a lot of motion. And when you have a lot of money, you can just like, especially when you have a government that doesn't really care about the safety and security of and the social welfare of the average American, and cares more about doing like little deals like this, farming as hard as they can. You have, you have open corruption of this sort. Trump Jr. joins betting market Kalshi as an advisor. That's insane, right? Except Donald Trump Jr. announced on Monday, this is from January, that he was joining Kalshi, a prediction market that allows users to bet on political developments as a strategic advisor. On election night at Mar-a-Lago, while bias outlets called to raise a coin toss, my family and close friends used the prediction market Kalshi to know we won hours ahead. He used his father's electoral victory as a way to do a fucking ad. He's also on Polymarket's board of advisors as well, and that's part of the reason why. It's part of the reason why it seems impossible to control any of this stuff. Do you see what I mean? Anyway, hey dickhead, this is my only chance to buy a house, so why don't you give me insider info, you fuck? Don Jr. isn't just cashing in through Kalshi though. He also invested on Polymarket on August 26th. A week later, on September 3rd, the CFTC formally allowed Polymarket to re-enter the US to operate prediction markets. Yeah, fantastic story on corruption and regulatory arbitrage. Kalshi named Don Jr. as a strategic advisor to the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. Kalshi names Don Jr. as a strategic advisor, and the CFTC, Commodity Futures Trading Commission, does a 180 and decides that prediction markets that allow sports betting are outside the reach of state regulators. That's why all of the For You page ads on TikTok are basically talking about like, Kalshi has made it legal to gamble in every state. Like they literally say it. All right. So yeah, Benjamin Freeman, who is a Kalshi user since 2024, the YouTube channel of his own, says Kalshi is not a gambling company. Saying so is incorrect. I assume that people calling Kalshi gambling are uninformed rather than being defamatory, but Kalshi is not gaming. It's been decided in the courts. Please read the 15 pages of Kalshi X LLC versus CFTC before spreading misinformation. Right? Adam Johnson says, Lamau, it meets every definition of gambling, but please refer to this overly technical court ruling for why the thing that is obviously gambling isn't gambling. Good luck with that. Yeah. I assume the reason why that court case was decided the way that it was is so that people can say, turn around and say, oh yeah, it's not gambling actually. That's it. But no matter what it is, as long as it generates enough revenue, and then you can take all that revenue and then dump it into corporate lobbying, corruption, and also dump it into marketing, then you're fine. You can get away with it. That's all this is. And that's precisely what's going on with the sports washing that you see. That's precisely what's going on with all these gambling apps in general. It's a lot of the things that I criticize are becoming increasingly normal and much more difficult to combat because they have enough money and they can purchase favors and they can purchase normalcy. They can normalize their existence and they can slowly but surely basically make their way into everyday existence all around. And the reason why I'm talking about this today, obviously, is because of the CNN collaborative relationship with Kalshi, which I think is pretty devastating. Some of this stuff is so crazy Some of this stuff is so crazy that it literally is not even on Cyberpunk. Like, these are things like this, like a betting app collaborating with a major news outlet, unironically is something that I don't even think exists in like a Black Mirror style dystopian future. Like, it goes beyond previous cynical predictions, previous pessimistic predictions of how bad things are going to get. It's pretty interesting when the real world existence ends up outflanking the awful stuff that people are predicting in their most pessimistic in their most pessimistic moments.
Mark, you've mentioned multiple times that you think prediction markets will be bigger than the stock market. What is it going to take to become $1 trillion asset class?
It's pretty much already like a close to 100 billion a year asset class, right? Like, it's pretty easy to imagine a 10x from here. Like, we haven't even started. It's been a year. I think a very large number of people care, much larger than traditional markets. And I think retail as a pie has just been growing in the US, and I think it's going to keep growing. It's growing in the stock market, but it's growing outside of the stock market. The long-term vision is to financialize everything and create a tradable asset out of any difference in opinion. And I think if you do build a general purpose exchange that can resolve differences of opinions on anything, like, the TAM is quite massive, quite a bit bigger than the current TAM of the stock market. I think putting aside sort of the retail trading and the institutional trading product, like, there's sort of this separate product, which is like, we are living in a world where, like, we have an abundance of information, but there's a lot of noise, and like, we don't really understand what's real from what's not. And prediction markets are an antidote to that. They do a very, very good job at distilling information and surfacing truth to people. And you're seeing this sort of massive shift where, like, people are using them whenever they think about questions about the future, whenever they're debating about anything. And I think that trajectory is going to keep going. That's a new consumer habit that I don't think is going to be undone.
Awesome. The co-founder of Kelsey says the long-term vision is to financialize everything and create a tradable asset out of any difference in opinion. I wonder what this will look like, dude. Folding Ideas said 4 years ago that the ultimate role of cryptocurrencies was the financialization of everything, and he said it is an extreme pejorative, and this fucking freak is out here bragging about it. Yeah, no, that's precisely what's happening. They want to financialize rage bait. They want to financialize rage bait, and also on top of that, as long as someone is like slated to make money off of it, they will also then manipulate the outcomes to the best of their ability. Like, let's think about it from the perspective of streaming, right? Like, even something as stupid as like, will Hassan have a major stone lock? And this seems like kind of stupid to bet on, except as we saw already, there's like a bet going on Kalshi right now about whether or not I will attend the Zohran Mamdani swearing in ceremony. There was a bet on, I think, Polymarket about whether or not I would actually get arrested, right? And if you have enough financial interest, you can basically dump a shit ton of money. Into one direction and then try to manipulate the results of that. Like, someone could literally do this, like, will Hassan get arrested thing, right? And basically dump like a couple $1 million into the yes option and then try to fucking swat me, for example. Like, that's so insane. Happens where I live. USA is not very far. I'm just saying, it's like, why would you say that, bro? What the fuck? I mean, this was a previous bet and it's not, it closed already. But the point that I'm trying to make is that things are going to get even more dystopian. Getting kidnapped to be brought to the Zohran Mamdani inauguration to fulfill their yes gamble, or the opposite, trying to stop me from going to the Zohran Mamdani inauguration because they dumped a shit ton of money into it, right? Like the opportunities are endless. Financializing everyday existence for random people without their consent is so crazy. And I know that I think Cutie Cinderella talked about this as well, because apparently they wanted to set up like bets on the streamer awards. And even if they can't make it happen, they can spread out enough fake news that Kalshi might register it as real and pay out. Yeah, exactly. There was a verified poly market bet where the market resolution was the opposite of reality. That's also the other thing as well. It's pretty crazy that is, I mean, this is the Wild West of gambling now. And there is virtually no control over there's virtually no control over it, because who's going to stop them, right? Like, do you think that this current government is going to stop them? Fuck no. Donald Trump Jr. is already sitting on the board of both of these companies, right? He is financially invested in Polymarket and Kalshi. And as a matter of fact, instantly after his involvement, the government attitude changed dramatically as well. So we have a direct involvement from people who are not shy about utilizing their influence to, move things in a certain direction. What's noteworthy, Adam Johnson says, what's noteworthy about CNN entering into the gambling business with Kalshi and letting viewers wager on genocide, war, and famine is that it receives zero critical coverage from mainstream media. They've entirely embraced the press release framing of the prediction market data nonsense. And it's pretty obvious that this is a gambling app, right? It's a gambling app that lets you gamble on innocuous shit. And yet, the media is not covering it as such. And the reason why the media is not covering it as such, or have any sort of interest in covering it in a sincere manner, is because they are financially incentivized not to do so, because they're openly collaborating with Kalshi. Like, people who freaked out, I know hypocrisy fishing is idiotic for the most part. Let's be real. It doesn't work on people who are ideologically invested in a cause. And Republicans are ideologically invested in Donald Trump and his family. So let's be real. It's never going to work in terms of changing people's minds. But it is pretty crazy, because these are the same people that shit on Hunter Biden over and over again and shit on Joe Biden, because Hunter Biden trafficked his last name to get a nepotism job, a no-show job in Burisma in Ukraine. He didn't get any, he wasn't able to actually manipulate anything, contrary to popular opinion, with respect to Joe Biden's interventions in Ukraine. Joe Biden's interventions in Ukraine, as a matter of fact, played the opposite role of what Hunter Biden would have wanted. But regardless, this was a major point of contention for the Republicans. And yet, this, like what Donald Trump Jr. is doing with Kalshi and with Polymarket, is far worse, far more consequential, right? News sites are all getting press releases from these betting sites, and they just publish their PR stories with no editing or journalism. Exactly. It's a perverse incentive structure that exists. What's noteworthy about CNN entering the gambling business, yeah, exactly, is that they're doing press releases for these companies. There's an institutional conflict of interest in our media, says Adam Johnson, whether sports or politics, not to be critical of the unchecked rise of gambling in media, because the C-suite correctly views it as a cash cow, so the vast majority of mainstream media just look the other way and shrugs. Even independent creators don't discuss the issue, because one of the few reliable sponsorship opportunities for an independent creator is gambling companies, so it's just treated as inevitable and normal. I've personally seen this, and it's one of the things that I was talking about, which is that the most amount of hate that I've garnered throughout my career after Israel comes from my anti-gambling position. Okay? Straight up. All of the fucking Twitter power farmers, like the blue check power farmers, all of this shit. Why has it created an endless cycle of hatred? It's because they all get fucking paid by these companies. And while the content watchers themselves actually don't like all this gambling, and don't like the fact that, it's heavily integrated into their content in general, the content creators that they have a parasocial relationship with are consistently justifying it. They're consistently justifying it because they want to make a bag. They want to get the bag from these gambling channels, and these gambling companies, whether it be Kick, Stake, or Kalshi, Polymarket, DraftKings, numerous other companies that have unlimited funds to promote gambling, RainBet, RuBet, all those other ones too. So that creates this. Can you provide examples? What do you mean? Just lie. Yes. Just don't use those sites. Blue Sky. Can you provide an example? I am currently providing examples. What do you mean? Which person? Most major content creators you can find have gotten directly paid by one of these websites. I mean, a lot of the top content creators that went and got a got a deal with Stake did that, or got a deal with Kick did that. Like your favorite content creators that are cryptocurrency gambling on their streams are not doing so because they just enjoy the act or anything. They're doing it because they're getting paid to do it. All the way from Drake to virtually every top content creator on this platform and many others. All those other blue checkmark Twitter power farmers, they all have stake deals. They all have Rainbet deals. They all have Arubet deals. Would Twitch let you talk shit about their prize picks? I mean, Twitch doesn't have any editorial control over what I say and what I don't say. I'm criticizing DraftKings and prize picks and any other, all these other gambling companies as well. This chatter is the same one who fell for AI articles about your dad being a billionaire, laughable media literacy. Yeah. It is pretty funny that the guy is like, can you give me examples? Meanwhile, he is like, basically, let stupid people lose money. Just don't use it. Forehead. I agree. You are the person I'm talking about that gets duped by content creators who go, nah, dude, just gamble responsibly. What's fucking wrong with you? And then your favorite content creators say that, and then you come in here and you repeat it. You know, in any case, unless the state stops it, capitalism will financialize everything, says Ben Norton, turning it all into a casino with rampant insider trading. The legalization of sports betting in the U.S. led it to spread like cancer. Now the corporate media is turning the news into a gambling opportunity. Mention your Polymarket offer. Yeah, Polymarket offered me $1 million as a starting position to enter negotiations so they could sponsor one day of streaming on election night, and I said no. Very famously, and you took it. Yeah, I famously took it. But my point is, not only is there no benefit for me to say no to stuff like that, but also on top of that, it creates resentment for all the other content creators who do take deals like that because it's a major bag for them. So then it creates this environment of negativity around people who are saying that they think this is bad because it ruins their opportunities, because there are people in their audiences that will turn around and go, why the fuck are you taking this ad? Do you understand? Because it makes them look bad a little bit. Not that there's anything you can do about it. The unfortunate reality is that it's virtually impossible to overcome the financialized interests. Come on, to be fair, not everyone has a moral backbone. I understand that. I saw like new interest polling on people's interests about certain things, and it's like creating a family was down. Like all the things that Republicans say they want people to do more of, all of those interests were down, and the only thing that was up was money. And I think that's capitalism in general. I think capitalism is basically creating an environment where the only thing you care about is trying to make money. That's it. And it creates this unique environment where, of course, getting the bag is the primary thing that you must do. You don't care about fucking being a good person. You don't care about like what the consequences might look like. It's all just about making money. And when the reality of the matter is, as people get poorer and poorer, okay, as people get poorer and poorer, they are more desperate for this upward social mobility, and they see gambling as an opportunity to do that, okay? Desperate people will take a shot in the dark with the hopes that they will be able to win for once. And what they don't realize is it's actually not going to happen. Like back in the day, they used to call lottery tickets stupid tax. Now everything's a fucking lottery. Everything's a stupid tax. And capitalism, along with deteriorating material conditions, makes people more desperate and more reliant on these get-rich-quick schemes that in the past, were correctly considered, stupid tax. Yeah, the American Values Index. I think this is it. In partnership with Gallup and the Aspen Ideas Festival, conducted the inaugural American Values Index. And yeah, things are getting worse and worse. And there's virtually no way of stopping it. Even independent creators don't discuss the issue because one of the few reliable sponsorship opportunities for independent creators is gambling companies. It's difficult to tell where the line is with these things. Almost no one wants to criminalize gambling as such, but the full-blown corporate financialization of every unpredictable event in our lives is clearly out of control and definitely should not be integrated into the news. I also personally think that if, this is what led CNN to openly promote that they have a sponsorship or a partnership with Kalshi, the everything betting app. And this is the reason why they don't call it a betting app or gambling. They call it a predictive marketplace. I think it's journalistic malpractice to do that, but they're incentivized not to. And it's pretty devastating. The U.S. is creating an economic system that incentivizes everyone to use their insider knowledge to gamble on everything and try to scam everyone else who don't have insider knowledge. Yeah, going back to the Google insider who's officially been exposed on Polymarket. There was also another story about this where everything is turning into a casino. There was another news story about this where they had it was Polymarket, right? That actually changed the outcome, or someone on Polymarket was betting on the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and they actually changed the there was an unauthorized edit to Ukraine's frontline maps or something. And the speculation is that because they were because someone was making money off of it, that they actually did this unauthorized edit to Ukraine's frontline maps. Like they straight up manipulated it so that the bet could close. 1 hour and 30 minutes and still talking about the blast off meme. Wait, what? No, what are you talking about? This is what I wanted to cover. This is not just like me talking about the meme in my blast off tweet. This is the actual meat of the story. This is something that I wanted to talk about. It's in the title. Worst part is the war maps are not official in any way. Every war map is updated by some map autist guy who pinpoints soldiers' presence from like a 144p video, so it's easy to manipulate. Yeah. Hustle culture is going to lead to the collapse of our civilization. I think the hustle culture is growing as material conditions worsen. That's my opinion. I think it's a byproduct of how bad things are. When people are hungry and they're desperate, they lean into, and they know that there is no regular upward social mobility with a 9-to-5 job. They just take whatever remains of their disposable income and dump it into something like this with the hopes that they can actually get a leg up on everybody else. We saw a version of this already. We saw a pretty accelerated version of this with the whole NFT stuff, right? And with shit coins and the like. And it was it was obviously only going to get worse. Isn't this just what crypto is? Yes. I mean, it's also another version of an unregulated, unverified, unregulated security or an asset. But this time it's just pure gambling. America, in many respects, is the perfect place to do this because American culture, like America was the proto-capitalist nation, and American culture is very much hyper-individualistic. It's always about like getting your money up and not your funny up. So in many respects, this is like a perfect opportunity, a perfect country to do this kind of thing, especially at a time when people are fucking suffering. So they create this incredibly reliable base of support, and people end up straight up fighting to preserve this structure that actually exploits them, that actually relies on how vulnerable they are, that relies on their desperation. Because people go, what do you mean? You just don't want me to fucking win, dude. Fuck you. Why are you telling me that this is bad? I have no other option. I have no other alternative, says you, rich guy. Right? And that's what it is. It's pretty horrifying when you think about it. But ultimately, is this the American values one? No, I don't know. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. I'm trying to find the exact tweet that I saw. I think maybe it was generational. I don't know. Who was it? Here, I think it was Matthew Zaitlin that posted it. Yeah, this was what I saw that I thought was interesting. I don't know exactly which. Oh, this is from Wall Street Journal's news exclusive. Yeah, percentage who say these values are very important to them. Patriotism, super down. Religion, super down. Having children, down. Community involvement, super down. The only thing that's up is money. And it's ironic because I think these are all the values that Republicans want people to have. But Republicans are so hyper capitalist that, ironically enough, they are even more responsible than the Democrats for all of these values going down. Because why the fuck would you feel patriotic if you feel like your country doesn't actually care about your best interest? You know, you don't give a shit about community involvement when it's virtually impossible for you to be involved in your community, when you don't have time to be involved in your community, when you don't have time or money to have children, and all of those things go down. All of the moral investment or the social investment in those things go down because material conditions are worsening and people are more isolated than ever before. And it's not an accident that the interest in money or values such as money is going up, because that's the only thing that offers you a semblance of freedom. In the past, you could have time. You could be invested in your country. You could feel hopeful about your future because you could just have a job that at least like allowed you to pay for your whole family. You know, you worked hard, but you were able to own a home. Now that you can't do that, it's there's nothing to be invested in. There's no investment in the community because why would you? You're too busy trying to make ends meet. I don't necessarily care about like people's interests diminishing in patriotism or religion or having children or whatever, but you know, it's probably not healthy that there is no no involvement in their people's interest in being involved in their communities is diminished, and the only thing they care about is making money, because that's the only thing that they correctly point to as you know, a mechanism of survival and as a way to live truly in this truly in a free way. Money is the only way you can have some semblance of freedom. And freedom from debt, freedom from having to worry about your finances all the goddamn time. It makes you feel you basically decide like this is the only thing that matters. That's capitalism, baby. And that is where we're at. Hustle culture grows.